फरमाते थे रो कर शहे मर्दा, ज़हरा नहीं घर में। जनाब है बिल्किस पासबा है ये, किसकी जनाब है मरियम दुरूद का है ये, किसकी जनाब है शाने खुदा आया है ये, किसकी जनाब है दहलीज़ आसमां है ये, किस की जनाब है कुर्सी ज़मीं से लेती है, गोशे पनाह के बैठा है अर्श साए में, किस बैठा है अर्श साए में, किस बारगाह के बेटे पुकारते हैं कि लिल्लाह बाहरा अम्मा ना इतना रोवो, गुलामों पर रहम खाओ, नाना कहाँ गए हैं, बुला लाए हम बताओ, हम कपड़े फाड़ते हैं नहीं, हम कपड़े फाड़ते हैं नहीं, तो गले लगा नाना के बाद हाय ये बेकद्र हम हुए, सब एक तरफ हुजूर के भी, सब एक तरफ हुजूर के भी प्यार कम हुए, एक दिन निगाह करते हैं क्या शाह लापता मतबाख गर्म आर दे, जो है गधा हुआ नहला रही है बच्चों को, मलमल के दस्तों पा फैला दिए हैं कुर्ते भी धो कर जुदा जुदा, पूछा के इतने कामों का जो शुगल आज है, इस वक्त कुछ बहाल तुम्हारा, इस वक्त कुछ बहाल तुम्हारा मिजाज है, बोली कि आज रात को हो जाऊंगी बहाल, कल मेरे कारोबार में तुम होंगे खुद निढाल, खिदमत का मेरे बच्चों की होगा किसे ख्याल, नहला धुला दिया के परी शाथा इनका हाल, कुर्ते भी धोए खुद भी कल तक का दे चली, सहरा ना देखा एक अरे, सहरा ना देखा एक अरे, मान ले चली फिर तो हर एक महल्ले में महशर बपा हुआ, अपने पराए दौड़े के है ये क्या हुआ, फिजा पुकारी सैयदा का वाक़या हुआ, हुजरा बतूले पाक का मां, हुजरा बतूले पाक का मां, तमसरा हुआ छाती खलक से देखने वालों की फट गई, मूरख के मुंह पर मुर्दे के जहर, मूरख के मुंह पर मुर्दे के जहर नबली पड़ गई, ऐ मेरी फाखा कश्मीरी नादार अम्मा जान, ऐ मेरी बेदवा मेरी बीमार अम्मा जान, काबे किया अम्मा जान नाना मुई तो थी कोई ताजा खिताब दो अम्मा जवाब दो मेरी अम्मा जवाब दो मेरी माँ जवाब दो नन्हे से सर खुले हैं नहीं सर पटोपिया कहते हैं कुछ तो मुंह से निकलता है हाय माँ लिखा है जब जनाजे पर पहुंचे वो नीम जा हसरत से देखा मुर्दे का मुंह और ये की बुआ अम्मा गुलाम आए हैं रुखसत के वास्ते जाती हो तुम नबी की जाती हो तुम नबी की जियारत के वास्ते
Today we are gathered here to commemorate the Shahadat of Bibi Fatima Az-Zahra, who is rated by Allah to be a sign of His marvelous might. He bestowed Fatima Az-Zahra with a vast share of greatness and high level of majesty, which no other woman can ever claim to have reached. Allah created her as a sign of His ability to create a woman possessing all moral excellence and talent. It is related that Imam Jafar Fatima has 9 names. They are Fatima as-Siddiqa, the honest, al-Mubarakah, the blessed one, al-Tahira, the virtuous, az-Zakiyya, the chaste, al-Radiyyatul Madina, who is gratified and shall be satisfied, al-Muqaddata, the one to whom angels speak, and Az-Zahra, the splendid. After her death, Imam Ali said, she was a flower new to the bud. She came from paradise and went to paradise, but she has left fragments in my mind. Salam on you, O daughter of the Messenger of Allah. Salam on you, O leader of women of the world. Thank you very much.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ali
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه تبارك وتعالى في كتابه المجيد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وما كان المؤمنون لينفروا كافة فلولا نفر من كل فرقة منهم طائفة ليتفقهوا في الدين ولينذروا قومهم إذا رجع إليهم لعلهم يذكرون. صلوات and Mu'minat. These are verses from chapter 9, verse number 122, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about one of the most fundamental principles of social survival. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about importance of division of labor. The literal translation of these verses are, Allah says, yet it is not for the faithful to go forth en masse. It is not sensible, Allah says, for all the people to go out to do one thing. Then Allah says, but why should not there go forth only a group, each of their sections? Allah says, if there is a task to be done, it does not make sense for all the people in society to go to do that job. Allah says it makes more sense for people to group should go out, so that they become learned, they acquire knowledge in religion, and then they come back to warn and to teach those who are left behind. Meaning, for society to survive, there has to be distribution of labor. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in His infinite wisdom, when He created the humans, who were given more importance than the other creatures. And that is what we know of the civilization that starts with Nabi Adam. What was before that, we do not know. We are just know of what starts with Nabi Adam. And therefore, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in His wisdom, knows that for humans to survive in a society, there has to be laws and regulations. Without laws and without regulation, they will not be able to function. And therefore, right from day one, with the Nabi Adam alayhi salatu was salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave these human society two things. For their guidance, two essential things were given. One was message, the other was the messenger. The messenger gives the message that comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that that society lives and does not disintegrate. And as and when societies begin to emerge, the laws also gradually were upgraded, so that human beings would be able to live in comfort, interact with each other, and develop physically and spiritually. And this system continued as and when societies grew in complexity. The laws were also gradually being upgraded. Fundamentals were the same. It is the width, it is the scope that was enhanced, was expanded, and therefore you see all the prophets were coming. There was the messenger, and they brought the message. And these laws, as emerging societies came out, man also began to make his own laws. So you have laws which are made by men, and laws which are made by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The core of the man-made laws, at the core were also the essential principles that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had said in His message. However, the problem with man-made laws are that they just have very limited vision. They just think of the material welfare of people in that particular society. However, the laws of Allah goes ahead of that. It does not only think about the material, the physical welfare of people, it also thinks of the spiritual enhancement and development of man. That is the difference. Therefore, you will see that essentially the laws of man based on human decency. There are certain principles of decency which you find in all places of the world. However, when it comes to the details, there are differences. And therefore, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throughout sent His messengers to implement the laws of Allah not only for the physical benefits, but also for the spiritual benefit of human beings. And that system continued up to the time when finally Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His infinite wisdom upgraded, the system was upgraded to the point that there was no need now to have any more prophets. It therefore culminated with our Prophet Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Therefore, on the day Al-Yawm Akmaltu Lakum Deenukum, Allah says, today I have completed my religion. So there was this completion when therefore the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was the last prophet. The laws of Allah had totally been upgraded, and therefore the Prophet finally left the world. There came the system of Imamah. The Imam's job were now to implement, to establish the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And therefore they were the guides. Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib. And after him is that system, silsila of guidance that comes through the Imams. Every single Imam therefore was a guide. And humanity therefore wherever they were, when they wanted to stay on the Sirat al-Mustaqim, on the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to benefit physically and spiritually, they got guidance straight from the Imams of Ahlul Bayt. And that system continued up to the time, again in the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it ended with our 12th Imam, Hazrat Hujjat ibn al-Hasan. Now there was a dramatic change. The way when all the prophets came, and then you had the last prophet, Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, there was this drastic change. No more prophets. Now you have the Imams. And therefore, when we reach the stage of the 12th Imam, there was this drastic change. And therefore, the Imam was there, and he's still up to today. He started a period of Az-Zahra, meaning the Imam was there apparently with the community, but direct access was limited. Therefore, guidance from the Imam was coming through his naib, through his agents. He appointed 4 agents, one after the other. That was the period of Az-Zahra, where mu'mineen could go and get direct guidance from the Imam of the time. However, through these agents, and it was clearly understood that each of these agents had a direct access to the Imam. And whatever they said was coming straight from the Imam. It was not their words, it was not their interpretation, no. They were mere agents. They said everything that they said was from the Imam. So life was easy in that sense, that although the people could not go straight to the Imam, whatever they needed, whatever problems they had was solved by the Imam through his agents. That was the period of Az-Zahra. Allah knows better. Society had reached at the point now there was going to be another change. And that is, it started a period of Kubra. Meaning now the Imam was not going to appoint any agent himself. The Imam is there, but now you people will have to seek guidance among yourselves. That is the era in which we are now living, the period of Ghaibatul Kubra. When the Imam of the time is alive, is aware of what we are doing, but guidance has to come through. Now this is the era, and that is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in these verses here. That now is the time when certain people among the community have to undertake that task. What task? The task of acquiring that competence, that they should be in a position to interpret and to establish the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that in the field of not usul, on furu. Usul, there is no ijtihad. Now comes the issue of ijtihad. And ijtihad, the word simple means struggle. People now have to struggle to see the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through human beings. Masum? No, they are not masum. This is where the question of ijtihad and mujtahideen comes. The role of ijtihad. Two things, it is two things that have kept the followers of Mazhab of Ahlul Bayt, you and me, alive on the surface of this earth. Right from day one, the enemies are all there and try to wipe us all. We have survived with two things. The 12th Imam, Hazrat Hujjat ibn al-Hassan, in his letter that he wrote to the agents of his time, and he said, you think that I am unaware of what is going on? And that I have left you on your own? If it had not been for our prayers, you would have been wiped out from the surface of the earth. The guidance of Imam is there, therefore. But it has to be done through the concept of ijtihad. What is ijtihad? These are the two things that have kept this community alive. One is ijtihad, and second is azadari of Sayyidul Shuhada. These are the two things that enemies are after. Because if they destroy these two things, then this community is going to disappear from the surface of the earth. And you know it more than I know, how efforts are being made today from inside us to destroy these two things. Therefore, I thought for tonight, very briefly, we'll talk about this ijtihad. What is ijtihad? Ijtihad is this verses here. What is it? That all of us are not in a position to study and to acquire that competence that is needed to be able to represent the Imam of the time and give interpretation of the, not usul, furu, jurisprudence. There are a lot of things that is required to do that. First of all, a complete knowledge of the Quran is required, and knowledge of the Quran in terms of what has been interpreted by the Imams of Ahlul Bayt, not any Tom, Dick and Harry. The Quran was revealed to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Imams of Ahlul Bayt have obtained that knowledge from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Therefore, any person who wants to understand the basics of Quran has to go through the interpretation, all the interpretations that have been made on the Quran, number one. Number two, they have to know about every verse, when it was revealed, why it was revealed, where it was revealed, to understand the interpretation of the Quran. Thirdly, you have to understand the literature of the area and the time in which the Quran was revealed. These are only some of the branches. There is so much to be done before one has acquired the competence to be able to represent the Imam and give verdicts. There's so much required. Therefore, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says here, for you all it is not necessary and it is not possible. All of you cannot go to do all that work when there's so much else to be done in the community. The society, there's a lot of things to be done. You need doctors, you need teachers, you need different professions. If all of you start doing it, what will happen to the society? Therefore, those of you, a few of you, who have got the patience to do that, and have got the barakah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to undertake that job, go and do that. Therefore, when it comes to ijtihad, there are three things that can be done. All of us. Number one is, if you are not capable of doing all that, you have to turn to a marja' taqlid. One who has done all the job and is in a position to give verdicts. Among all the scholars who are in that era and that area, they say that this one is the one who can do that. Turn to him. This is number one. However, if you can do it yourself and you want to become a mujtahid, go ahead, do it. Do it. If you don't want to have to do ijtihad of any particular marja, and you have the ability to do all that on your own, do it. And do it. You know it yourself better. Therefore, either follow one who is competent, who is going to do it for you, or do it yourself. Become a mujtahid. Or there's a third thing also. You don't want to become a mujtahid, then do what is called ihtiyat, number three. Meaning, for every single action that you want to do, you have to research and see what all these competent people have said, and then choose one which is the hardest. If, for example, a particular issue comes to you about you going for Hajj and what are the requirements of Hajj, you have to look through all these verdicts that have been given and find one which is hardest of them all. Take that. These are the three options. Therefore, sometimes people say, why don't we do it? If you think you are capable of doing it, go ahead and do it. There's no harm in it. You are on your own. You're responsible for whatever you do. Therefore, because of this, there is this question of mujtahid, who is competent. Now, where does this come from? This comes from Ma'sumin Imams. And you will see Imams of Ahlul Bayt have mentioned this. And as a matter of fact, during their own times, they have appointed, before the 12th Imam, some of their representatives who are living far. And they would tell our Shia brothers, you don't have to come all the way to see me if you cannot do that. Amongst you are some people whom we trust and we know they are capable of doing it, therefore go to them. One of them is the 8th Imam, Imam Musa Rizal alayhi salatu wasalam. During his time, there was this person, Zakaria bin Adam. Zakaria bin Adam was one of those persons who Imam said, in case you cannot come to me and ask me, go ask Zakaria. Because what Zakaria will tell you is what I will tell you. So there is this traditions of Ma'sumin who have said that, so this question of ijtihad is not, as some people say, started only 200 years ago. It did not. This is all trying to confuse people. So mujtahideen therefore are the ones who have been recommended by Ma'sumin. And our 12th Imam Hazrat Hujjat ibn al-Hasan says that these persons, these mujtahid, those who represent us, they are hujjat on you. I am hujjat on them. Allah is hujjat on me. Allahu Akbar. Rejecting them is rejecting me. And rejecting me is rejecting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's that serious. This issue of jurisprudence is very serious. Therefore, as we said, you have a choice. Allah has made it easy. The Imams have made it easy. This is the time when the Imams are not there, the 12th Imam is not there, and there are a lot of issues that come out that we need guidance. Where did the guidance come from? This is the era in which, therefore, we turn to these. And there may be one or two at a time. And the majority, the fundamental root, there is no contradiction. There may be a few differences, but as we say, they are not ma'soom. They are people who are very, very hardworking. As a matter of fact, Imam mentioned 7 characteristics, minimum characteristics, 7 of them. Number 1, he has to be baligh, reached age of maturity. Number 2, he has to be male. Third, he has to be sane, akil. He should have. 4 is of legitimate birth. Number 5 is Shia Ithnashri. Number 6 is hard. He has to be just. And number 7, he has to be alive. Now, number 7 is to be qualified. And this is what we will qualify if we read one salawat. A young person becomes baligh. He has now to do ijtihad. Therefore, he has to do ruju', to turn, to choose any of those 3 choices. Either go do taqleed, or go and become yourself a mujtahid, or Go through all the research that has been done, and about every issue, you find the one which is hardest, the toughest, choose them. As a young man, now you have to do ruju. You have therefore to turn to a mujtahid. You cannot do to a dead mujtahid. For example, a young man now, he cannot say, I want to do the ijtihad, my mujtahid is marhum al-Khuy. Marhum al-Khuy is dead. So you cannot initially start with the dead mujtahid. However, if you are a muqallid of a particular marja, say al-Khuy, and he has passed away, and the next mujtahid, in your opinion, he is not as learned as that mujtahid on which you are doing his taqleed. Therefore, you do ruju to that mujtahid who is alive and see if he allows you to stay on the dead one. This is what happened with Shistani. Those muqallid of al-Khuy who thought that al-Khuy was more learned, more knowledgeable than Shistani, by permission of Shistani said, if you think so, you can stay on him. And therefore, there are a lot of brothers who stayed with marhum al-Khuy. So that they can do with the permission of the one who is alive. He gives you permission, you stay. Plus, now, the one who is your muqallid, you have to stay with his rulings. You cannot pick and choose. This mujtahid, I do this. This mujtahid, no, I do this. No, you have to stick with one. Unless, if the marja which you are following has certain issues on which there is no ruling, there is no fatwa. And he says, ihtiyat wajib, means precaution which is obligatory. In that particular case, you can turn to another mujtahid who has a ruling on that and follow him. But it has to be obligatory wajib. Ihtiyat wajib. If it is ihtiyat sunnah, then you cannot. In other words, he said ihtiyat, but this ihtiyat, for example, doing, I'll just give you an example, that doing your masa, he says you can use only one finger, and he says it's ihtiyat wajib. Then, if there is another mujtahid who says that you can do wuzu, you have to use all your 5 fingers, then you can follow him. Why? Because this one does not, it's only ihtiyat wajib. It's not, he does not have a ruling. He says it is obligatory and it has to be done. So this is the, otherwise we have to follow these mujtahidin. And how do we find one? How do we find one? There are again 3 or 4 ways of doing it. Number 1, if you yourself have so much knowledge that you know that among all these ones who are living the scholars, this particular one is the one who is alam, who is better than all of them. You are convinced, follow him. Number 2, if you are not sure, but your friends, you have got 2 friends whom you trust, and they tell you that according to us, this is the best one, follow him. Or it is Ahlul Khibr, meaning a whole group of people, a lot of them, who are very, very competent or very, very scholarly. They say that, you know what, among us, this particular one is the best one. But you have to choose one. And it is not right that if a particular mujtahid, you are not his muqayyid to bad mouth him. Don't bad mouth. These personalities are, they never ever claim to have a direct access to the Imam. They will never tell you. But quite possible they may have it, but we do not, and they will never claim it. But the way they live. And this is the reason why when the Imam of the Ahlul Bayt were asked, they gave also certain other characteristics, that this should be adil, just, that when you see him, you know this is a just person, that he does not commit sins openly, and that he is of that status, that you know that he has gone through a process, 60 years, 70 years, 80 years of study. And when you see the way they are, the way they wear their clothes, the way they live, simple, very simple. These are the characteristics that Masumin have mentioned. And they are the ones who are in defense of the religion of Allah. They give their lives. Muhsin al-Hakim and his children, how many of them have been killed? These ulamas of the past, how many of their children have been killed? Why? Because they stood firm. They stood firm. And every single bad thing will be said about them. They are firm. They are prepared to give their lives for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't therefore underestimate this mistake. And on top of them is the Imam of the time. He is the Imam of the time. I have said it all for one reason, only one reason. To show the status of Fatima to Zahra. Person on whom the Sharia of Allah, the laws of Allah that started from Adam, culminated into the personality of Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa. And after him, the person who was to take over from him in terms of spreading the word of Allah was Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib. And all the Imams were from that progeny, up to the Imam of the time, Hazrat Hujjat ibn al-Hasan. And who were they? Who were they? Fatima's father, Fatima's husband, Fatima's children. The Imam of the time, when he hears the name of Fatima to Zahra, he lowers his head. This is the status of Fatima to Zahra. This is the personality of Fatima to Zahra. That personality, when angels ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when they see these characters, these 5 of them, the way they are, the angels are, they have never seen anything like this. The glare, the magnificence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When they see, they ask, Ya Allah, who are these? And what did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? Hum Fatimatu wa Abuha wa Ba'luha wa Banuha. And it's Fatima. This is the father of Fatima. This is the husband of Fatima. These are the children of Fatima. Fatima is the center of all that. This is the Fatima. Who would be able to describe who Fatima was? The Prophet called her Ummul Abiha, mother of the father. Who was the father? The Prophet. And Fatima was the mother of the Prophet. How come? The Prophet would never utter anything which did not have meaning. What the Prophet meant was those difficult times in Makkah. The Prophet had the most difficult times. And he used to say, the way I had difficulties, no other prophet before me had those difficulties. And who was there to support him all the time? Khadijatul Kubra and Fatima. And when Fatima passed away, when Khadijatul Kubra passed away, it was Fatima who was left out. A young girl, difficulties that she saw during those difficult times. The father comes home bleeding. The father comes home full of garbage on him. Young daughter goes and cleans the father. This is what the Prophet meant, that Fatima was like a mother taking care of the child. And that child to be me, the Prophet says. Show me Abu Talib. And the difficulties, Fatima never complained about that. All those difficulties that she went through, she did not complain about it. Never. She supported her father all along. Up to the time when they had to go to Medina, and Fatima went to Medina. Things ultimately changed in Medina. But Fatima went through hardships so that the Ummah, no one in the Ummah should think that Fatima lived above her means. This is the reason why Fatima would grind, use the grinder in her hands full of wounds. Fatima suffered, but never complained. And therefore the Izzah, the honor that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave to Fatima is when her mother passes away, she asks the father, where is my mother? She cries, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends Angel Jibreel. This is recorded in all the books. That Allah is sending salams to Fatima. Tell her that her mother is in the best places in Jannah. And therefore, what should he say? What should he say? When Fatima comes against all the rules of the time, no father in that society would stand to welcome his daughter. No. The daughter would stand up to welcome the father. That was the culture. Why? The Prophet, when Fatima came, he would stand up, he would welcome her, and where he was sitting, he would make her sit in his place. This is the honor. Why? Just because she was a daughter? No. And it's because of her status in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is that Fatima, after the passing away of the Prophet, one of the marsias that she read is she goes to the grave of the Prophet. She puts her head on the grave of the Prophet. She complains. She says, Father, 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 after you, this community has treated us very, very badly. Then she says that the fragrance that is coming from this grave, this kind of fragrance I will never ever have again. Then she says, what does she say? That the musibah, the atrocities that befell me, if they had befell on a day, a bright day, it would have turned into darkness. Fatima never complained. Why did she complain after the passing away of the Prophet? There is so much to say about it, but there is no time. It's enough to mention Sheikh Abbas al-Qumi in his work mentions this incident. He says after the event of Karbala, he writes it, and he is responsible for the riwayah, that after the event of Karbala, when Imam Hussein was martyred, son of Umar ibn al-Khattab, Abdullah ibn Umar, went to Sham to see Yazid and told Yazid that what you have done is not right. You have slaughtered the son of the Prophet. Yazid said, oh, wait. Ask his secretaries, bring that letter that we have preserved in our treasury. The letter is brought. This letter is written by Umar ibn al-Khattab, addressed to Muawiyah ibn Abu Sufyan, in which Umar ibn al-Khattab describes that event which took place after the passing away of the Prophet. And when Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen is in his house of Hazrat Fatima, and he describes, and what he describes is essentially, I went there, I threatened to put the house on fire, I put the doors on fire, I pushed the door, I put Fatima in between the door and the wall, I killed the child, I instructed my slave Unfus to beat her, I beat her, he beat her. He is taking pride in that, and then he says, and you are coming today here to complain. What has happened here is because of your father. Karbala is a product of Saqifa. And the irony today is if you go for Medina, if you go to Medina today, you go and ask for the house of the Prophet, they will never tell you where it is. Ask them where Mahalla Bani Hashim was, they will never tell you. Ask them where is Saqifa, they will show you. Saqifa has been preserved, and they have put a big board on it to say, this is Saqifa. And Fatima therefore suffered because of Saqifa. The Prophet passing away, why did Fatima cry? The insults that they told the Prophet himself. That Prophet is in his last breath, and we were there. What did they say? That this man is halurious, he is mentally now upset. For us, Quran is enough. Leave him alone. This is the insult to the Prophet that made Fatima cry and weep. And the way they treated her after passing away of the Prophet. She complained, and she complained. One or two things only is enough. One is like they beat her when she stood and she told them, this is the house of Fatima. Hasn't the Prophet said, hasn't the Prophet himself never entered here without permission? They said, we will burn your house. She said, Hassan and Hussein, I say, so what? And they did it, and they killed Fatima. The child in the womb of Fatima was murdered by the Muslims of the time. And then they went inside and beat her. And they dragged Amir al-Mu'mineen like an animal. They dragged him and they took him to the court. In that situation, Fatima came out of the house. Wa Muhammad, wa musibata, oh father, they have taken Abul Hakam, they want to kill him. She goes there and she sees Imam Ali surrounded by these people. Ali gave by Ali asked Imam Ali, I said, if I don't do, they say we will kill you. And he said, are you going to kill the cousin of the Prophet? At that time Fatima said, oh, son of Abu Qahafa, are you going to make Hasnain yatim? They were bent on killing Imam Ali. Therefore she went to the grave of the Prophet. She said, I am going to complain. Ask Allah to help me at this moment. Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen told Salman, go tell Fatima not to do that. This is what made Fatima weep. More than that, they took away Fadak, what the Prophet had given to her, and what she was holding on for over 3 years. What was the implication? The implication was the Prophet was nepotistic. He gave to his daughter what did not belong to him, what belonged to the Muslims. Meaning the character of the Prophet was being assassinated. The character of Fatima was being assassinated. The character of Ali was being assassinated. And then Fatima and her husband and her children possessed what was not theirs. Therefore, they cannot be ma'soom. These are the things which made Fatima weep and cry. These are the things. Then Fatima had to go to the court, had to go to that masjid where she used to see her father, where the father would stand up and welcome her. Today she goes in that court, madala, like a criminal, and she stays there for over an hour in front of those who are in authority. These are the things that Fatima remembers up to her last moment. These are the things that pained her. And therefore, on that last night, Amirul Mu'mineen comes home. Fatima was sick, bedridden for some time. On that particular night, Fatima was moving around, washing the clothes of the children, preparing meals for them. Amirul Mu'mineen asked her, "O daughter of Rasul, today you seem to be doing a lot of work. Rest, my dear, rest." He says, "O Amirul Mu'mineen, O Abul Hassan, today is my last day on this earth. Ya Abul Hassan, tomorrow you will be busy bearing me. Who is going to take care of my children? Therefore I have prepared everything for them." Then Ali asked her, Imam Ali asked her, "How did you know that this is your last day?" She said, "Oh Abul Hassan, come close to me." She sits, Amirul Mu'mineen is sitting next to her. She tells him, "I saw my father in my dreams, in which I complained to him. I said, 'Oh Father, this ummah, the way they treated us.'" My father said, Fatima, don't worry. Your days of difficulties are over. Tonight you are going to meet me. O Abul Hassan, therefore listen to my wasiyah. Wasiyah number one, Ya Amirul, Ya Abul Hassan, in my life with you, if there is any shortfalls, forgive me for that. Amirul Mu'mineen responds, "Fatima, you are ma'sooma. There was no shortfall from you, ma'sooma." Then she says, "Ya Abul Hassan, when I pass away, my children are younger. So marry Amama, daughter of Zainab, my cousin. She takes care of these children. She loves the children. She'll take care of the children. Ya Abul Hassan, my children are younger. Take care of my son, take care of my Hussein, take care of Zaida, take care of Kulthum." And then she says, "Abul Hassan, you perform all the rituals that are performed to a dead person." Then she says, "Oh Abul Hassan, these people who wronged me, do not let them participate in any of the functions of my burial. Don't let them attend my burial ceremony. Don't let them even come close to my grave." Amirul Mu'mineen promises her Then he goes to the mosque. He takes Hassanain with him. Fatima Az-Zahra is now alone at home. Asma bint Uwais records. She says, after Amir al-Mu'mineen and the children had gone to the mosque, Fatima called me. She told me, help me. I helped her. She had her ghusl. She dressed herself. Then she said, oh Asma, I am now going to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So far as you hear my voice, don't come inside the room. When you don't hear any voice coming from me, know that I have already left this world. But Asma, when my children come, when Hassanain come, don't tell them that I have passed away. First, give them food to eat. Let them have food, then bring them to me. Asma says, I stood outside. Fatima Az-Zahra was praying. Finally, she became quiet. When I went inside, I saw that she had already left this world. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. I cried out, wa Muhammada, wa musibata. Soon Hassanain came home. I said, Hassan, Hussein, my children, come sit, let me serve you with meals. They look at me and they say, Asma, what about our mother? Since when do you feed us and our mother is not there? Asma says, before I could tell them anything, they went inside. And Imam Hussein called out, Mother. There was no reply. He went and embraced her. He realized that Fatima had already passed away. He turned to his brother Hassan. Hassan, mother has left us. Sheikh Abbas al-Qumi writes that then Imam Hassan went forward and he started kissing the legs of his mother. Inna lillah.
दूर तलक बस रेत है फैली मिट्टी और कंकड़